So you may be wondering what to do with all the information that we're sending out. You're getting programs, you're getting body weight programs, you're getting YouTube notifications of a stretch class going on. You're getting all these different things and all these different pieces, but you may be wondering, how do I put this and piece this all together to make sense for me? So there's a couple things that I think are super critical to start this conversation. I think the first thing is, what is your specific goal, right? What is the goal that you're trying to solve? Jackson, what is your goal? No, the first question is, what is your specific goal that you're trying to solve? Are you, during this time, focused on the strength side of things? At this time, are you focused on the conditioning side of things? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Maybe you're just like, hey, listen, I want to keep pushing forward, stay healthy, keep moving daily. Whatever it may be, what's important is for you to determine what that specific goal is in this time frame. Because from there, that's going to dictate what we do going forward. So a couple things you'll see up here. I write number one, first important step, what is your specific goal through here? The second piece of that is, how many days do you ultimately want to move or want to train during the week? And I've laid a couple out. Is that 2 times per week, 3 times, 4 times? Maybe it's 5 plus. Based on that will dictate how we encourage you to utilize all the resources that we're giving you. So let's just use for an example, your main focus is, I just want to stay healthy during this time. I want to continue to improve on all aspects, flexibility, the mobility side, the strength side, the conditioning side, everything that I've been focused on during my time in there. Then here's going to be my recommendation for you. If you're training 2 times per week, pick a program and stick to it, whether that's one of our body weight programs that we gave you, whether that's the individual program that we sent you personally, or maybe that is our minimal equipment based on what you may have. If you're training 2 days per week, just grab one of those programs and stay with that, because that's going to give you everything. It's going to give you the strength side of things, it's going to give you the mobility side of things, but it's also going to give you some of the conditioning pieces built into that as well. Let's say, you know what, I want to actually train 3 times per week. I would take 2 days and complete a program that fits you and what you have. I would take 1 day and either do conditioning or mobility work, right? So you can hit 2 days of a program, take the 3rd day of that week and either hit one of our conditioning classes that we put on YouTube, or one of the days of our 4-week conditioning plan that we sent all of you guys via PDF, or jump in and hit one of our mobility days that we posted online as well. Now, that's not to say you can't hit multiple things. You can't hit your strength plan and your mobility plan. We'll get to that now, later as we talk about individual days, but that's how I'd probably break that up. Let's say you wanted to train 4 days per week, okay? Here's where I think you go 4 days a week. I think you go 2 times with the program, your individual program. I think you go that 3rd day is either conditioning or mobility, based on what you want to get out of that day. And I think this 4th day can be your choice. I think you either hit another program day or conditioning or mobility. I think it depends what you want out of the day. How are you feeling? Are you super sore from the week? Do you feel like you need a little bit of decompression? Hit mobility. Do you want to get out? You want to get a little bit more of a sweat? You want to get the heart rate up and get the heart rate moving? Maybe hit a little bit more of the conditioning side. Maybe you want to get a little bit of everything. Then I think one of those strength plans would be our way to go and our way to work through. Let's say you're training 5 days per week. Here's ultimately what I think your game plan is going to be. You're going to hit 3 days of the program, 1 day of mobility work, 1 day of conditioning, and I think these can be or days. What I mean by that is one of those days can be an additional conditioning day, mobility day. It just depends on where you want to go. And again, this is where I think the goals are so important, because I think how this potentially changes, if your goal is just the conditioning side, you're like, listen, I want to take advantage of this time right now and take however long this is and focus on the conditioning piece, then I think this conditioning, instead of the program, that's a conditioning program. Here, instead of 2 days of like the strength program, I think that's 2 days of a conditioning program, and then this turns to 1 day of a program or mobility work, right? So you can see how you can kind of mix and match a little bit based on what your specific goal is out of this entire process. Now, what should a day look like for you? What should I be doing in a specific day, right? So this kind of covers our week. What does an actual day look like? So a couple things. We're putting a bunch of warm-ups on YouTube. All of you are skilled enough to know foam rolling and some of our dynamic warm-ups, but we also got some warm-ups that you can just follow along with, a little bit different change of pace for you. There's a running warm-up on there. There's a strength warm-up. There's even a strength or athletic-based warm-up that you can knock out as well. Those are different options. You're like, listen, I want something new to get me going and get me up to speed where I want to be. From there, either hit the program or your conditioning work, whichever it is that you want to hit. Then what do I do once I finish that? What if I want a little bit more? We're gonna have a couple things up there. We already have 10, 15 minute, 20 minute stretch classes that are up there. You can use that as a little bit of a cool down. We have some specific cool downs as well on there. We have some breathing work if you're trying afterwards just to kind of decompress. But let's say you're like, man, I want a little bit something more. I want either a cardio finisher or I want a little bit of a strength finisher. We're putting some specific circuits up on YouTube. Just go in, find one of those, click it. That could be your perfect finisher as well. So there's a ton of options, but as a quick recap, I think the most important thing is, what is your goal out of this time? What do you want to accomplish during this time of training? Is it conditioning focus? Is it, hey, I want to just keep moving? Is it more of a strength focus? Based on that, that's going to dictate what you do and how you organize your specific week of training. And then from there, get creative, explore some of the things that we're putting up on YouTube, explore some of the different circuits, explore some of the different classes. And again, that's a piece of this as well. When I put like, hey, hit one conditioning, that could be one of our classes that we've put up online as well. There's a plethora of options. We're trying to provide as much as we can for you. But again, what's important is determine your goals, find and use what you can to kind of complete this whole thing. Let us know if you have any questions.